Hey guys, hello. I see a ton of people here already. That's so fantastic. Thank you for coming. We have got the Heatstead. Hi. Grandma's so happy. Hi, Bonnie and Katie. Hello. Um, Michelle. Hello. You're sweating up north with a tank top on, a fan blowing. It must be above 50 degrees or something, right? Oh, yeah, I hear you. Going outside for a little bit. I know it gets too warm inside, when it's at 65 degrees and it's like, oh, just need outside, fresh air, t-shirt, that type of thing. So, hey, Alicia, hello. And Dawn, hello, welcome. Mary Brown, hello, thanks for coming, you guys. Oh, so good to see everybody. The Oklahoma summers are awful. Yeah, it's, you know what, anything really north of Canada, the summers are pretty tough. We get hot summers too, just not nearly as long as the South. I mean, their summers are like 8 months long. Ours, our true summer is probably about 4 to 6 weeks, but our like super hot in the hundreds, probably about a week, maybe 2 at the most. Hey, Sean, hello. Checking in from way up in the Kenai. Thanks for coming. Food Forest Permaculture, hello. Overlook Valley, hi. Welcome, everybody. Cecilia, hello. All right. How is everybody tonight? It's a Monday, beginning of the week. Did you have a busy day? Do you have a busy week ahead of you? Did you have a good weekend? Kind of wraps that all up, all in one. So, oh, Heatstead, well, that's good. I'm glad you finally caught it. Well, that's a tough thing. A cat, oh. Nathan, just those of you who know Nathan at Samson Farms, he just put up a video today on feral dogs that got attacked his sheep. Hey, Dave and Amanda, hello. Wilderstead is in the house. Oh, seed catalogs are a good thing to get. Yay. I'm so glad, Alicia. Hey, Copper Kettle Farms, hello. Connie, hi. You walked parks a lot this weekend. Oh, that's good. That's awesome. Hey, Tinker's wife. How are you tonight? Are you hanging in there? Oh, I know. His sheep. Oh, especially the one. It was just, oh, Cecilia, thank you so much. That's so sweet of you. Oh, goodness. Thank you. Hi, Grammy Karen. Hello. You are just so faithful in coming when you've got to be on your kids the next hour, and I just really appreciate it. All my mods, I thank you so much. Who else do we have in the house? So everybody's just still saying hi. Yes, hello, hello, hello. You're welcome, Karen. I really appreciate that. Hey, Joe. Welcome from Minnesota to Western Washington. So Western Washington, is that up in the mountains at that point? I'm trying to remember the geography up there. So everybody greet one another. That's awesome. Such a big family. That's so great. Good community. I like that. Hi to anyone I missed. And same here. If the chat is going so fast, sometimes I miss somebody. And I'm just, I try to do what I can here, but not always right on top of it. So I apologize ahead of time if I miss something. Oh, Mary, that is so great. Yep. See, my mods, it's so wonderful that you guys are out there welcoming new people in. And see, Mary, that's so great. That's wonderful. Oh, I know some of the chats really go fast, especially when you get some of the bigger channels, or you get people who really like to say a lot of things here. So sometimes it goes kind of fast. We got 23 people here. Hello. Hey, making lemonade from lemons. Hello. How are you? Good afternoon, Eli. It's evening here, but I know it's afternoon for you. So welcome. Hey, our cabin in the woods. Hello. Thank you for coming. All right, you guys. You're awesome. How is the weather for everybody there? It is still dry here. We've been above freezing and melting. So in that way, it's not dry. I mean, we're getting nothing in the forecast either. So Tinker's wife, it's, you know what? You guys could be chatty all you want. That's fine. Thanks for coming. So you haven't had any rain yet either, Michelle. Yeah, I mean, just warmer temps. We're going to have the rest of this week will be in the teens and single digits, but so it'll get cold again, but really no snow in the forecast. And it's just been crazy. Where I know the South, you guys are just saturated and flooding. So, okay, Sean, do you get a lot of wind where you're at too? Because I like to look at the maps of the wind directions in the fronts and the jet streams and stuff like that. And so there's been some crazy stuff off Alaska. And so I can imagine that it's pretty crazy. Priceless notion, 18 inches, is that rain or snow? If that's rain, 15 feet of snow. My house would be buried. And the plum trees are blooming. Oh my goodness. Tons of rain in St. Louis too. Okay. Thank you, Eli. Yeah, the Heathstead. Do I have you on my list? I think I did. Let me double check. I don't. Yes, so what is your first name? And I know I've seen some of your videos, but I don't remember. The Heathstead. Michelle. Okay. And Michelle, where are you from again? You're keeping a list too. Okay, well, that's good. It really helps, especially when you're doing lives and everything. Oklahoma. That's right. That's right. You said that before. So anyway. So, oops, I got to plug in my computer. Sorry. I don't want to die on you guys. All right. So a lot of you guys are like planting already and everything. And those of us in the north, we really don't think about garden and seeds and everything till about this time, which is end of February. And you know what? When I go to try to look at these companies and order seeds, it's like sold out, sold out, sold out. It's not available. And I'm like, what? You guys in the South have like just ravaged all the seed companies. And so hopefully they'll be able to restock or something. I don't know, with snow, and just shoveling and clearing and working at that. And this year it's been it was heavy snow during December and January. But oh, hey Joey, you've been like so amazing in advertising for me. I really appreciate that. Hey Kiri, Built on the Rock Homestead. Appreciate you coming. Did I miss anybody else back here? So Cabin in the Woods, you're Oklahoma too? Okay. And what is your first name? Because I don't think I have you. So just trying to get in here. Cabin in the Woods. But yes, Joe, I am about 700 hours away from monetizing, so we're getting there. Alicia, that's so sweet. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Tony in Oklahoma. Cabin in the woods. Okay. What seed store is that, Eli? I'm not familiar with that one. BULD. That would be interesting. Because I know MI Gardner is out of almost everything. So, oh, bulk. Okay. Okay. Thanks. Oh, Kiri, does anybody else have any trouble with buffering? Because I'm not getting any message here. So hopefully it's just your area. I don't know. Leanna, hello. Thanks for coming in. McCoy's Oak Hill Farm is in here. And Leanna, I know that on other lives I've just kind of butchered your name. And it's like McCoy's Family Farm, McCoy's Family Hill. It's like, I'm sorry. Will's Petting Zoo and Garden, hello. Thanks for coming. Oh, okay, great. Good. Oh, Priceless Notions, you're buffering? If you are, try refreshing and see if that helps. Otherwise, I know that there's a lot of weather and high winds going on around, so it might interfere. Right now, my weather is perfect. My laptop is 1 inch away from my modem. My modem is about 50 feet from the phone building, so I've got like super connections here. But Cecilia, you're buffering too. Oh, goodness sakes. Okay. You guys let me know if it's really, really bad. Okay. Hey, Chris. Hello. No worries. Not at all. Thanks for coming in. We're just all saying our hellos and everything. All right. I can't remember who asked me. I think it was actually Julie. Oh, hey, Hardy Marsh Farm. Thanks for coming in. I think it was Julie from Heaven's Essentials that we were talking about, I think it was on Camp Patton Family Compounds live, and they were talking about fishing things and stuff like that. And I told her, it's like, I have a fishing story for you. And she's like, oh, okay, we got to hear it on your live. So hopefully she comes in soon, or else she will be able to watch it later. But well, thank you, Cecilia. You know what? If you guys are running other things, that could affect your connections too, and if they're buffering. So so I appreciate that and everything. So, well, Hardy Marsh Farm, thanks. That's great. Oh, Julie, there you are. Okay, so I'm about to tell my fishing story that I was telling you about. So anyway, I have 4 brothers, but my one brother, Pete, lives on or near Mille Lacs Lake. Now, Mille Lacs is the 2nd largest lake in Minnesota, and it's French, and it means really it means thousands lakes. So it's in an area that there are 1,000 lakes just within that area, and it's the biggest one. And so anyway, it's spelled M-I-L-L-E, so Mille Lacs, L-A-C-S. So it's French for 1,000 lakes. So anyway, he was, the chat is flying by. As long as everybody's still saying hi and everything. Oh, Jake Jacobs, hello. Thanks for coming in. Scott, there you are. You made it. And I'm just at the beginning of my story here. So, and Gil is here. Very good. Bunch of fish. Yes, Mille Lacs Lake is a beautiful, beautiful lake in Minnesota, and very much known for its fishing and everything. And it was in the summer, and my brother Pete and his buddy were out fishing on this lake. And you know, our fishing boats on the lakes aren't like the fishing boats in the Gulf or your shrimp boats or anything. They're, you know, 16 or 18-foot boats with, you know, the steering wheel and the comfort and the windshield and stuff like that. So anyway, they were out tooling around on the lake, and Mille Lacs, okay. Yeah, we, you know, we've got that Minnesota tendency for butchering French, so we try. Anyway, they call it Mille Lacs. So anyway, they're out boating around, and they come across this other boat that is moving in the lake, and it's just riding low. I mean, um, the gunwales are at the lake level, and this lake. Now, to get a little bit of an idea, hey Dave, how are you doing? The lake is 207 square miles, so a good sized lake. So anyway, the um, Pete and his friend, they're out there for, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 hours or something fishing. But when they move to a different spot, they'll notice this other boat, you know, just grinding through the water and just riding low. There's a crew of people on there, you know, maybe 4 or 5, something like that. And they are just plowing it, just making this huge wake and everything. And my brother and his friend are just like, what in the world? You know, it's like, we can't figure out what's going on. What kind of boat is that? What's going on with them? So anyway, my brother gets in to shore. They're done fishing. What they do is back up their pickup with the trailer on it and put it into the lake, and the trailer into the lake, and then they pull your boat up onto the trailer and attach it, and then drive off. And you pull your trailer with your boat on it behind the car. Well, as they're just finishing up, they see this other boat coming in. Now, they're people from another country and another culture, and I'm not going to say which one, but, you know, it's just people who don't really truly fully realize the ins and outs when they come to a new area, a new country and everything. So anyway, they are coming up to shore, and about 50 feet from shore, their boat just stops dead, and the guy is on the front. He flies over the top into the water, and my brother's like looking at it, is like, what in the world? What did they hit? And so all the people are like getting out of the boat, and they're just trying to pull his boat up. Well, they get it up near the dock and start pulling it up the ramp. The trailer is still attached to the boat. So they had gone through all around the lake and driving it with the trailer attached underneath the boat. They did not realize that it was supposed to be separated. So, and they still had the trailer attached, which was amazing. It was like, oh my goodness. Yes, no. So I don't know if they damaged the trailer when they hit the ground when they did that, but it was just like, it's crazy. It was just crazy. I'm glad to see all the laughing. That's good. That is great. Well, I have some other stories here too, but I know, it's that great. You guys can feel free to tell that one. Yes, I just love it. It's so great. So hello, hey everybody. Thank you. That is true, Dave. The trailer is cheaper than the boat, but it's like, still, how do you get it home then if the trailer is damaged, you know? And it's like you're pulling it behind your truck. I don't know how that's going to work. All right. One of the things for those of you in different states or different countries or something that you don't really know what Minnesota is like, or what, you know, the different things. So anyway, again, with Mille Lacs Lake, it's big enough to actually be located in 3 different counties. And it's the other lakes that are really big are Lake of the Woods, which we share with this. Okay, so Minnesota is shaped like, I'm going to do this backwards. It's kind of shaped like a K, like that, kind of a K, and then it's got a little chimney on the top. And right in the chimney area is another huge lake, and that's Lake of the Woods. And it's about 1,700 square miles. And we share that with Ontario and Manitoba. So, so it's kind of cool up there. A lot of things going on up there. So anyway, that is the largest lake in Minnesota. We have, actually, we're called the land of 10,000 lakes, but we have over 12,000 lakes that are, and each of these lakes are actually considered to be what do they call them? Oh, they have to be 10 acres or bigger, the size of them. Now, Wisconsin, I don't know if anybody's here from Wisconsin, but they love to brag that that they have more lakes than we do. However, Wisconsin doesn't have any criteria for what size the lake has to be in that count. So it could be, you know, a little 20-foot diameter, you know, pond, and they consider that a lake. So if we use that criteria, we have well over 20,000 lakes then actually in Minnesota. I figured out that our actual land in Minnesota covers 86,000, almost 87,000 square miles. We're the 12th largest state in Minnesota. Hey, Brett, hello. Thanks for coming in. Liberty Bell, hello. Simply Jan Homestead, thanks for coming in. Gail's Garden Herbs, hi. And the Natural State Gardener in Homestead, hello. So thank you, mods, for just making everybody feel welcome. I really appreciate it. So yes, those are puddles. We don't count puddles. We count lakes that are actually, you know, 10 acres or bigger. But anyway, so out of our 87,000 square miles, which is equivalent to about a little over 55 million acres, we have approximately 13 million acres of that. So just almost a fourth of the land of our surface area of Minnesota is covered by deep water, rivers, or wetlands. And so our actual wetlands or our actual water is 2.5 million acres, but then you add the wetlands and that comes to 13 million acres. So we have a lot of water here, a lot of wet stuff. So, but anyway, an interesting thing with that, and we'll get to more stories, so no worries. The wetlands in Minnesota, so we've, you know, had 13 million acres. However, or the 13 million includes our lakes and everything, but just the wetlands, in 1850, we had 18.5 million acres. And in 2008, so 150 years later, we were down to 10.6 million acres of wetlands. So that was, I mean, lost 8 million acres of wetlands. And a lot of that is to urbanization, construction, things like that. So, hey, Mims, hello. Okay, not a problem. I've got enough blue people here, and I appreciate it. You just do what you have to do. So I really appreciate it. You know, Wisconsin, Ivani, would have more lakes, but they don't have the same criteria. So things that are lakes that are below or under 10 acres are still counted lakes there, but they're not here. So anyway, what else do we have here? Yeah, swamps, bogs. Yep, everything else. Scott, you behave, okay? Thanks, Karen. Appreciate it. Hey, Skate for the Savior Ministry Skateboard Devotional. Wow, that's a mouthful. Thanks for coming in. I really appreciate it. So I don't know who that is. Your other channel. Okay. So you have to let me know who that was then. Hey, Bev. Hi. Thanks so much. I've talked about Minnesota today and a lot of stories. But hey, Robin R., thanks for coming. Appreciate it. All right. So gives you a little bit of an idea of what's going on here. So remember, like a month ago, I was telling you about the fishing derby, and that I went, and you saw my video, hopefully, on the derby. I know a lot of you guys would have seen that. This is some of the the stuff that I made for the Derby itself. So, anyway, it's just posters, flyers, postcards, all that kind of stuff. So the, see if I can get a better picture here. This is the logo of the Northern that I created. It took me about 15 hours or so to make just the Northern, and but he's become an icon for the Derby, and it's just been like super cool. It's really kind of fun. They call it the Fighting Northern. So I don't know, that's kind of fun. So anyway, part of the reason Minnesota has so many lakes is because it was from the last glacier that came through, and it kind of, dug all these holes and left all this stuff. And I actually live right on a ridge from the last glacier. So kind of neat, the history through here. In fact, Katie, she moved mountains. I went and showed her when she was here that glacial ridge. So it's kind of funny. Are you guys okay if I read a story that's a little bit? I'm gonna start blushing now. It's a little bit on the edge, but not quite. I mean, it's just. I just want to know, first of all, if you guys are going to be okay with that. And if you, thank you guys. I'm glad you like those posters. I'm not going to do anything that's going to be nasty or anything. It's so funny. It's so hilarious. Okay. All right. At the Derby this year, on Maple Lake, there are only about 2,500 people in that town, so it's a small town. And plug your ears, Scott. Oh, okay, Bev. All right, good. No, it's just such a play on words that it's really pretty funny. So anyway, their local newspaper and their writers put together this spoof of a newspaper, and it's a bunch of different articles on it. And it's called The Maple Flake. And it says a spoof publication of the Maple Lake Messenger. So anyway, you can see that there's my logo on there, but they've got everything in here is just a play on everything. Well, the front page article, I'll let you read it. Elaborate two-story fish house, I'm reading it backwards, provides cover for area nudists. And look at the house that, I think they photoshopped that in because there's no way that our ice this year would have held that house. But anyway, that is like a two-story fish house. It's not all that big because you can see the person here. I mean, it's not all that small because you have a person here on a snowmobile. Sean, you've got me mixed up now. The snowmobile or snow machine, as the Northerners, it's Canadians like to call it, and Alaskans. But anyway, I've never seen a fish house there's a two-story. So I think it's a regular house that was put in there. Anyway, I've got to read this to you guys because it's so funny. When I first read it 3 weeks ago, and I laughed till I cried. It was just really funny. So I'm hoping I can get through this for you. Now, really listen to the names. Really listen to the names and the words, because that's where all of the play on words is at. So it's an ice castle for Lake of the Woods. Okay. So this article is written by Paige Turner. The Maple Lake chapter of the Nudist Ice Fishing Post 911 International, or NIPI, NIPI, would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to everyone who participated in their raffle to raise money for a new fish house to use in this year's ice fishing derby. The shelter will literally save the skins of members who last year reported several chapped cheeks, loss of feeling, and frostbitten appendages. Every year, the Maple Lake Ice Fishing Derby attracts thousands of ice fishing enthusiasts from across the state, and Nippy is always well represented. Don't let our appearance fool you. We know our way around a jigging rod, Nippy President Anita Coate said. Our members are some of the most devoted anglers in the state. They just don't know how to dress for the weather. Coat anticipates the new fish house will go a long way in providing protection from the elements for her nudists. Last year, temperatures hovered around 25 degrees at the annual event, with wind chills dropping well below zero. At least 3 NIPI members succumbed to the cold and had to be transported by ambulance to Buffalo Hospital, where they were treated for exposure. We took precautions, NIPI clerk said. I'm not going to say his name. We provided hot chocolate and passed out hand and foot warmers, but our members were still cold. The new fish house, which NIPI volunteers put on the lake yesterday, is expected to provide a sanctuary. Oh, okay. Am I missing somebody? Sorry. NIPI? Yeah. NIPI. NIPI. Yep. Max in here. Did I miss somebody? Hi. I'm reading a story about a spoof on an ice fishing story here. Okay. So the new fish house, which NIPI volunteers put on the lake yesterday, is expected to provide a sanctuary for those devoted nudists who love the sport of ice fishing. NIPI's goal was to raise $40,000 for their ice shack, but a generous donation from an anonymous donor put them well past that mark, which allowed them to invest in something a little bigger than they originally planned. The 1,600 square foot, 2-story shack they purchased comes equipped with a full-size bar, full kitchen, full bathroom with a heated shower and a skylight, 3 bedrooms, hot tub, living room, dining room, a stereo system with built-in speaker, a pop-up satellite dish, big screen TV, and an in-floor heating system. I'm probably covering the microphone here. 30 fishing holes and 0 closets. We should be able to fit everyone, not just the Maple Lake chapter, but all the NIPI chapters we expect to reveal themselves Saturday, Coates said. Moving the shack onto the ice was a little trickier than they first imagined, and the sight of those nudists at work drew plenty of gawkers, but Coates said they managed to find an out-of-the-way oops, gonna grab the wrong paper here, so join the club. An out-of-the-way spot to leave their shack where they think the fish will be biting. And yes, I do have to cover up this picture. I'm sorry. It's, oh, I know. A fishing hole of honor. Yeah, there's a guy out on the ice sitting on his little camp stool with just hat and boots on. So yeah, it's their picture for him. I have no idea why. So anyway, a fishing hole of honor will be reserved for the raffle's grand prize winner, Bjorn Free, Coates said. Free won the 1-year NIPI membership worth an estimated $1,000. Of course, you don't have to be a member of NIPI to check us out at Derby Day, Coates said. Everyone is welcome at the NIPI Fish House. Just remember to check your clothes at the door. The doctor remembers the best way to protect yourself from frostbite is to limit your time outside if temperatures are below zero. And when you do go out, he said, make sure to dress appropriately, including, well, wearing clothes. So anyway, gets ready for some ribbing. Hey, you know, it's not my town, so I can be thankful for that. It's not my paper. So we have another one that you guys, especially you in law enforcement, police are on the lookout for a walking fish house. I know, it's just silly stuff. It really is. Okay, again by Paige Turner. Contestants at this year's ice fishing derby are asked to be on the lookout for an escaped convict disguised as a fish house. Misdemeanor escaped custody as she was being transported from the county jail to maximum security prison yesterday. She is considered desperate and dangerous. Officer Pat Down stated this morning at a press conference. Normally, in an ongoing case like this, I wouldn't give out too many details, but since it's not my fault, you see, I recommended full restraints, handcuffs, belly and ankle chains, the works. But she's this petite little thing. It's deceptive, and well, my coworkers didn't think it was necessary. With her hands free, she was able to use her long blonde hair to strangle us until we fell unconscious, crawl through the window and into the cab of the truck, subdue the driver, and escape into the confusion of the Derby. It was brilliant, really, waiting until we reached Maple Lake, knowing the huge popularity of the local ice fishing contest would provide the perfect cover. So far, Meener's plan has worked. Since yesterday, she had managed to evade law enforcement despite their efforts that included search dogs, helicopters, drones, and undercover anglers. Their lack of success has led officers to believe she's had help. The only lead they have so far is the report of a person walking around with a tiny fish house over their body. So I got to take a break here and get in with you guys here. Okay. Oh, you guys still here? You still liking this? Is this okay? All right. Hey, Paul. Hello. Thanks so much. Oh. Oh, well, Olivia's here then. Hello, Olivia. Thanks for coming in. Oh, don't stop. Okay. I'll keep in. I just needed to check on. Yeah, these are really well written. I think this is great. Okay. If this weren't so serious, it would be comical, Down said. Remember, that's Officer Pat Down. The witness said 1 minute the fish house was sitting on the ice like the hundreds of other shanties, and the next minute, feet popped out of the hole and it starts walking away. Meener, as everyone knows, is the criminal mind behind the snowman scheme, and I'll read that one later, but that shook this small community during last year's Derby. Although she has no history of violent behavior, the desperate situation she is in could lead her to respond to meetings with the public like a cornered animal. Officials advise if you see a walking fish house at the Derby, do not approach it. Instead, immediately call this number. I repeat, call and ask for Shirley, who will direct you to the law enforcement tip line, where they will patch you through to the police department, at which point they'll find the deputy on duty and get back to you during business hours, or pass you along to the sobriety hotline. Time is of the essence, Down advised. So far, officials can only guess at Meener's plans. For all they know, she might be planning to hoof it all the way to Canada in her fish house. In her fish house disguise, where our deputies won't have jurisdiction anymore. Be on the lookout, Down said. Let's not let it come to that. So there's the picture of the runaway fish house there, or the walked away one. So, convict Misty Meener. And this is her snowman scheme. Identified by her feet. That's true. They should have like taken, molds or something or whatever they have to do there. All right. So a local does hard time for snowman scheme. Okay, and if you see this sign, it says unassembled snowman for sale. In other words, just a snow pile. So it says cheap. It can look like this, and it's cheap. And so that was her scheme. So Misty Meener, again by Paige Turner. Misty Meener of rural Maple Lake was sentenced this morning to 7 years in prison for her involvement in a snowman scheme that cheated dozens of naive locals out of hundreds of dollars during last year's ice fishing derby. The news of Meener's indictment comes ironically on the day of this year's derby and is an unhappy reminder of how even small towns like Maple Lake aren't immune to white-collar crime. While I'm happy justice has been served, I'm also sad. I remember a time when nobody locked their doors, a random person on the streets commented. Last night, I went over to my neighbor's to borrow a shovel, but their garage was locked. Before this happened, I could help myself to anything in their garage anytime I wanted. It's just sad. For those who haven't picked up a newspaper or turned on a TV in the past year, the snowman scheme is the newest scam to rise out of the northern states where snow is readily available. Criminals post innocent-looking signs in their front yards that read, "Unassembled snowman for sale," with an arrow that points to a cute, cartoonish character of a snowman that is especially misleading to children and the elderly. Meaner reportedly sold more than half a dozen unassembled snowmen, which were really just piles of snow, which we all know is free. Meaner set up her scam at a vacant home on the lake so as to make the most of the large crowds in town to participate in the fishing derby, Deputy Pat Downs said. She literally took hundreds of dollars out of the pockets of her snowman-loving citizens. $250.45 to be exact. Other communities in Wisconsin, the Dakotas, and Iowa have been subject to similar scams. In those cases, several individuals worked together in a more elaborate caper that involved solicitation and robocalls. Meaner reportedly worked alone. It was obvious she was trying to copycat the larger crimes taking place in other states. She failed, and anyone who's thinking of picking up what she left off during this year's derby will fail too, Down said. Despite his strong warning, Down cautioned that there are always folks out there stupid enough and desperate enough to try their hand at making a buck in an underhanded way. For that reason, he offered the following tips to make sure everyone has a good time at this year's derby. Take a closer look. If you come across a sign that looks like it's been handwritten, it's a good indication that something isn't right. Report it right away. Number 2, watch for red flags like prices on items that are ordinarily free, such as air and snow. Number 3, be suspicious of pie in the sky guarantees such as can look like this. Mods. Come on, mods. Thank you. Finally, if you're still unsure, check with your local Better Business Bureau for a business profile on the seller, including any complaints or reviews. So that's the snowman scheme. So thanks, guys. Appreciate that. If you could report that too, I'd appreciate that. So anyway, awesome. So those are just a few of the stories there. Thank you, Copper Kettle Farms. I appreciate that. You could sell a bucket of water with a floating carrot and yes, you could, Julie. That'd be great. That'd be awesome. Yeah, we did. Thank you, Sean. Yeah, you guys are on it, so thanks. I appreciate that very, very much. All right. So thank you, guys. The my prep tip for tonight, I was going to kind of do a demonstration, and I forgot my stuff in the basement. So anyway, I'll just kind of tell you about it more. It's I actually had it on my list of things to tell you about, but we talked about it Saturday night on Camp Patton Family's Compounds Live. But it's about sealing up and saving your seasonings, because no matter what you have, even if you're not eating, you know, in your prep stuff, if you're not eating just beans and rice or something, but even just that, but if you have meat and vegetables and everything, you're going to want to have flavor to those foods besides just salt. You know, you want like, you know, Italian seasoning, you want, cayenne pepper, you want a bunch of different things that you would normally use. And focus on the things that you normally eat, that you normally season your food with. Don't go off and buy something that you would never use and try to save that, because, it just wouldn't be. So anyway, to save them for long-term storage and everything, what I do is I'll take, let's just say Italian seasoning. I'll take like 1/4 of a cup of that, because that'll go pretty far when you're just doing normal seasoning types of things. And I'll put that in. I make my own little vacuum seal bags. You get the sheets of them, and I'll just cut them down and make a little vacuum seal bag. And so vacuum seal it in. If it's a powder, you can't vacuum seal that, so just put in moisture absorbers, oxygen absorbers, and things like that, and that will stay longer. So I make, quite a few of the little packets of them, and then I'll take like 6 or 8 of them and put them into like a quart size Mylar bag, or a quart size, vacuum seal bag. The one thing about vacuum seal bags versus a Mylar is that the plastic can, over time, can really kind of unseal at some point. So Mylar bags for long term are much better. So if I put, like I said, 6 of those into a Mylar bag, then I can seal up the Mylar bag and put another oxygen absorber in there. And so I'm double sealing things for storage, which is awesome. And then you can take that bag and put it in like another bucket or something to seal that up. So for that kind of thing, long term, it's great. Also do some that are, hey, Serenity Meadow Permaculture, hello, thanks for coming in. I didn't see you before, appreciate that. Oh, thank you. Do I need it? Oh, Cecilia, let me think about that, okay? I appreciate that, I really do. Sorry. I know I got behind on my chat here, guys. So if you asked me something or said something, please put it up like in caps and ask me, and I'll try to catch that. Hi, TNS Dogs and Dragonflies Farm. Good evening to you. Yeah, exactly, Eli. Salt is an excellent one to have. But then put package, like, let's just say salt. Do it in like a 1/2 pound package or something like that. Seal that up really well. Make sure with salt you put a moisture absorber in there, and then you can vacuum seal that. But that will be an excellent barter item, because there will be a lot of people who will quickly run out of their supplies of seasonings and won't have anything to season their foods with. So always think barter items along with what you're putting away. And so anyway, that's just my little tip on seasonings, to double seal them, double package them, and then you can store them in whatever you need to after that. So, all right, guys, sorry, I end up talking so much on these that I don't get to really like converse with you guys, but I'm glad that you all have each other here, that you're talking back and forth, and that's great. I really appreciate that. So your greenhouse was a death. Oh, I'm so sorry. All right. Moringa is another good prep item. Yes, it is. You store moringa, absolutely. And realize that the reason I store things in little amounts, little packages, is because when you open, like, say you want to put it all in a pint jar or something, vacuum seal it, and you've got it in there. Once you open that jar, um, it then starts to deteriorate just by the oxygen you let in, different things. So if you're doing it in small items, then you take that item and that will last you, a week or 2, 3, 4 weeks or whatever, and then you go and get another one. So whatever it is that you need, just do that. So, hey, Sean. Yes, people are great here. These multiple conversations are awesome. So you guys are so great. Sunny Preps, hello. Thank you so much. Yes, Eli's right. Dave, you do need to have moisture absorbers in the vacuum sealing because like salt will have a natural moisture or oil in it or something. So it will, yeah, putting some rice in there could help too, but really just throwing an absorber in, it just makes it so much easier. Chris, that's totally fine. Thanks for even listening, and I really appreciate that. Thrifty VG, you did make it. Yes, we've got about 8 minutes left here. Yeah, some of the when you're doing powders, let's say you've got coriander powder or something like that, and you want to put it in a little packet. It's all that little powder and everything. You cannot vacuum seal that. So put it in a small bag with an oxygen absorber and then seal it up as best you can, and then let that oxygen absorber and the moisture absorber do what it needs to do. So yep, anti-caking. It helps to keep everything from getting to be just a solid brick. Dave, I even do it with just like a quarter of a cup. I even do it with that. Just it will last a lot longer that way. So, but try it out and seal something, and then in 6 months from now, try it and see how that works for you. That's something to think about and to experiment with. Whatever things you do. Now, if you wanted to keep jars of like whole peppers and things like that, like the paprika and cayenne peppers, and to keep the whole peppers in there, put them in a jar, put a moisture absorber and an oxygen absorber in there, and then seal it up, vacuum seal that. That'll stay for a long time. Put it away in a dark shelf, and then you can pull one pepper out at a time or something, grind it up, and then reseal that jar. So that can work that way too. In fact, most herbs and seasonings are better if you can have them in their whole form, like cinnamon. I buy cinnamon sticks, and then when my cinnamon gets low, I'll probably grind up maybe a fourth of a cup at a time. So when it gets low, I'll just grind up some more sticks, and then I've got that freshly ground cinnamon. And if you guys have never tried that, it is amazing. The aroma and the flavor with that, and it's like you don't need really even as much with that as you normally would. So, okay, Dave. Yeah, see, I've got, all right. Bye, Eli. Thanks for being in here. I appreciate it. That is true, Scott. You never truly get rid of the moisture without an absorber. Because everything will still have some of it in there. Yeah, what was I going to say now? I totally forgot. But again, like I said, it depends on what kind of seasonings that you use, what kind of things that you have. If you can do the whole things as much as you possibly can, that would be excellent. Like I even have half-gallon jars of dried comfrey leaves that I can use for whatever. So they last a long time, and they do really, really good. So, but yeah, so I do 3 types of, actually of preservation, of planning everything. I do short term, which is in my freezer. some canning and different things like that. So anything that's could be used within like 18 months to 2 years, that's what I consider my short-term planning and my short-term goals and preservation. Then I've got like something like the 2 to 5 year plan, which I call a midterm um, length of time in that way. And so that will require different forms of preserving, different forms of storage, and different things like that. Then I have long term, which is 5+ years, up to like 25 years, and that's where I start looking at the freeze dried foods, and then making sure that they are sealed and packaged and everything else really well. So I don't do anything myself for the long term. I make sure that I get things that are done um, by somebody else that's like Thrive Life stuff. Those are last 25 years. So as long as you don't open the cans. So anyway, little piece there. But yeah, work on your seasonings, and we'll see what shapes up this year. If you guys, especially you Daves, that you use the seasonings that you use within 1 year, start thinking about maybe um, growing double that or something, or harvesting more or something like that. But Gail, you know what? It takes time, and it doesn't happen in 1 month. It doesn't happen in a year or anything like that. So anyway, sorry. It doesn't happen, overnight. So just don't be too hard on yourself. Just if you're growing, just grow more if you're able to. Throw in a few extra pots out, dig up some extra ground or something, and just try to grow a little bit more. So, Oak Knob Farm, I keep short term on hand, long term, I hope to self produce your own food. Yeah. And that really is the excellent way to be able to do it, is that um, to get to that point of being able to produce everything yourself. I don't have that ability to have, especially for meat and stuff like that here. So um, I do what I can. Everybody, that's all you can do, is do what you can. So, the world's biggest dehydrator. That'll be interesting to see. So, what are my top 5 or 10 prepper foods? um, Well, canning the stuff that comes out of my garden for sure. Any, I do tomatoes, just a general tomato sauce, and then I can convert that into anything, as well as diced tomatoes. And then sometimes I'll make a salsa with that. But so anyway, tomato stuff, and then green beans, onions. I put up about 40 pounds of onions this year, so I still have a lot of really good fresh onions, and I pulled those out in August, I believe. Um, so anyway, so the onions, and then I've been canning meat too to make sure I have that. Um, and really, it has to do with what I eat and what my diet is. So lots of meats and vegetables are really the key for me in the seasonings. I do have some Thrive Life fruits that I have, some not dehydrated, the freeze dried fruit, so that I can have as a rounding out, the diet and everything like that. So 5 or 10. So veggies that come out. So yeah, tomatoes, beans, onions. I don't really eat potatoes that much, so that's not really a big thing. Although I do have, I don't know, 10 or 15 jars of potatoes that are canned up. So I have those, if I want to make a potato soup or something, or for somebody else who's coming or something. Yeah, seasonings that I don't do beans or rice just because I don't eat those. So yeah, dried fruit is excellent to have for many, many things. You can have it for, rehydrated as a full fruit, or you can add it to things, if you have oatmeal and things like that. So I think the key is to look at your meals, what you eat, and then figure it out what you need to get to be able to replace that by growing it yourself or having some type of super long-term storage plan. So anyway, guys, thanks so much for coming. It's the top of the hour and Stivers are on and a bunch of other lives are on. And I just thank you so much for coming. It's been wonderful. Thanks for just listening to my stories that I was reading. And I still think the best one was the boat with the trailer attached. I don't know. It's like a classic for me. So anyway, you guys are terrific. Thank you to all my mods. Thanks for saving me there. Appreciate that. Puerto Rican Prepper, I didn't get to say hi to you. Thank you so much for being here. And thanks, Sean. Thanks, Kath. Leanna, thank you. Thanks, Scott. I really appreciate that. Oh, that's awesome. You guys hammered it. That's good. I really appreciate that. Yep. Anybody who's gone fishing or been on the lake, they can appreciate that one with the trailer. That's for sure. So, all right, guys, take care. God bless. And I really appreciate being here. Love y'all. Bye-bye.